Palmer unhappy at Chelsea. Well, the former Manchester City midfielder has been linked with a move to Manchester United. Could that happen? OK.
The answer is I can see him leaving Chelsea.
You can?
Yeah, I think Chelsea... I'm convinced that Chelsea have two business models. Carve would disagree with me here. They buy players to go into their first team, but they buy players to sell them and make money. You know, they're sensible, clever businessmen, and ultimately they want Chelsea to be successful on the pitch. But if they can turn a profit on a player, then that's absolutely something they'd be interested in. They paid £40+ million for Cole Palmer. If someone like Manchester United, who's looking to do a rebuild in the summer, turns around and sticks £100+ million on the table, I think Chelsea would find that difficult to reject, as much as they know that Cole Palmer is a massively important and key member of their team. I think when the money gets put on the table, that's where the Chelsea ownership would say, OK, let's have a conversation, because their recruitment is so strong, they'd say, well, actually, we feel we can replace Cole Palmer. We've also got loads of really talented youngsters that can also play as a 10.
Hello again. Now, since his move from Manchester City to Chelsea, Cole Palmer has become one of the most talked about players in English football. He was integral in the 2 trophies that Chelsea won last season. But could he be on his way back to Manchester? Interesting. He would say that. Cole Palmer, former Manchester City's Cole Palmer, to Manchester United. Really? Could that happen?
No. I'll give you a straight answer. These stories have emerged this week that Cole Palmer is unhappy at Chelsea. He's got friends in Manchester. Apparently he misses those friends. That's why he wants to move back there. He grew up as a United fan. His favourite player was Wayne Rooney. There's pictures of him on social media when he's very, very young, wearing a Manchester United shirt. So people have sort of got hold of this story and kind of run away with it. But I think what people are forgetting is that Cole Palmer has a contract at Chelsea until 2033. So there's 7.5 years left on his contract.
Yeah, but he's not going to stay for 7.5 years, probably, is he?
Well, he may not, but it would take an extraordinary offer for Chelsea to be tempted to sell him. Remember, this is a player who I think was a player of the tournament at the FIFA Club World Cup last summer. He got an award from President Trump. He's had a difficult season because he's had injury problems. He's been out of the side for a while. He's come back in. He's had recurring problems. There was talk that maybe he needed groin surgery. He didn't have that surgery. Chelsea have been trying to manage his injury issues. But the good news is he was back training today, and I think he's likely to play against Crystal Palace on Sunday. So the short answer to your question is I can't see him leaving Chelsea anytime soon.
I'm intrigued by the Chelsea model and what they achieve with silverware, but how they sell players. And we saw it in the summer, 200, 300 million pounds worth of player sales. They've been very good at generating income to offset the money they spend.
Hang on a second. Isn't that the point, though? Mark's hit on it there. Clearlake Capital are a hedge fund company, aren't they? They're in it to make money. Chelsea fans are not going to like to hear it, but they're there to make money. So isn't that the flaw in this project? That the fact is, if someone as good as Cole Palmer and really good offer comes in, he's gone.
Well, look, they're a private equity company. Mark makes some very, very good points. The only thing I would say, 2 things I would say, is one, I don't think there's anybody out there who could afford to buy Cole Palmer. I think to tempt Chelsea to sell Cole Palmer, I think you're talking about 150, 200 million pounds. That's just off the top of my head. The second point I would make is that I don't think Chelsea would ever sell a player of that quality to strengthen their direct rivals. And I think they see Manchester United as a rival for the top 4 places. So if they were ever to sell him, Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, if he was interested, maybe, look, we're getting into hypotheticals. I don't think he's going anywhere. He's got a contract until 2033. And he signed a new contract, I think, or an
September
extension
24.
in 24 as well. So, I mean, he's a Man United fan. A lot of people were. It doesn't mean they're going to end up playing for Manchester United.
Fair enough.